They tore up a major line today. The fire department had to go out and sit for 3 hours. They stunk up 4 blocks.
Grace says she hasn't had clear water in weeks.
It's hit and miss at my house, but it's not perfect. And it's causing something to happen. They need to put something in the water to clear. But they got a grant.
Are you on?
I don't know when it will start.
I want to be able to say that.
Well, I'm not getting older. The only choice I have is to get better, right?
I told her she ought to be lucky they're not charging for all those extra minerals.
Or. At least they've been on oil.
I just said, I mean, what happened to the grant? They kept saying, we can't do it. We don't have a grant writer. We don't have to.
Well, big guy got something to look forward to.
Right.
I think might as well look on the good side.
Mr. Just keeping it quiet down there on 9th Street. Right.
What's the matter with you?
I said, we're keeping it quiet down there on 9th Street.
I don't have any problem on 9th Street.
Hey, hold on.
Boyd
I
is
get my
the
camera.
problem. Not Boyd,
She's
but
about 8
10th
minutes
Street
past.
with buildings all around the place.
That's why.
That's a good question.
That way we can get you here on time.
He's gonna try his best. So the last time he did something, yeah, computer or something, phones or something, mixed everything up. He said he's going to try to be good at it. Tricking.
Oh.
It's not going on.
Actually, my daughter schooled here in kids, like for a year, the 2 daughters.
Here.
For everything, yeah. And their education, we gotta find some.
Hey, Chip. So I got an old email address for you. By chance, does it work at all?
I don't know.
I've been sending everything.
What is,
I think it's Terry,
Terry Chip,
the Gmail?
like Terry.
Yeah.
terrychip@gmail.com.
You ever get bored?
She gets it on her phone and shows it to me.
Okay, so you are getting it.
We got the secretary.
We gotta, when Bill gets back, we gotta grab his phone and somehow get an email. Like, we can't get anything to him quick, because he doesn't have email.
Probably text. But that's kind of limited in what you can send.
I plan to go for an afternoon with the packet.
Yeah.
Well, I hate when people send you something and you're supposed to be printing it out for you can have for the future. And when they send it, you cannot print stuff. And I like to say, please send it the right way if you want us to print it out.
Well, we sold the printer, so we don't have to. So I like that isolation.
What can I say?
Are you pro bono, Ralph?
I'm just doing it till the, train stops a rolling, hopefully no later than the end of next month.
Well, I don't know, it's part of Ohio. The whole county got evacuated with train wreck.
I just saw that on the news.
And they're getting ready to, one of the tanks, they're gonna let it out. Well, it won't explode, and if it explodes, About a mile and a half where shrapnel will go.
Shrapnel, they go.
Yeah,
What's in it?
I don't know what's in it, didn't say.
That's real close to the Pennsylvania line.
Yeah, fine.
New Paris?
Yeah, something like that.
Palestine.
New Palestine, yeah. I knew yesterday it wrecked, but today they say that.
You wouldn't think you'd want that bouncing around on a train to begin with.
I won't tell what you Steve. Then, center point a big bill for the 3 hours we sent out there on the fire truck. It's legal by the state fire marshal office. Well, to tell him, you can bill him for this time, bill. Well, they break. They're so bad in Jonesboro, everything marked perfect. And they'll still hit that water line. They hit the big main in the alley today, 4 blocks square. I mean, you better just just drive through it, you can smell it. And they called us out, and I'm like. Then I'm walking around like this, because they already pulled the truck out, and I was working on that. And the guy said, who are you? And I said, fire, just get your job done when we get out of here. Cause they were gonna tell me to get out of there, and I'm like, just get your job done before we get out of here.
Who was the contractor?
It's Center Point.
Oh,
They're going off with jet buildings, we're like a big gas city, and replacing mine. But up in the alley, they hit big mains, 2 spots. 2 spots. The big bosses is there and they weren't happy, and I'm like, I don't care if it ain't happy. That ain't my problem.
that's like Taylor was born, new IT stuff in, and they hit water main. Next day, they moved 54 inches over and hit it again.
Well, that was just about like a few years ago, when they put the fiber optic in Gas City. Now, things was marked and they went in checking on things, they was going down the road. Boring men, they was hitting everything. Gas City finally, get out of our town and don't come back in before all your permits. Can't do things right, hitting everything.
Yes.
Well, I had about 4 minutes. Now,
2 minutes. I just clicked and watch. Ready for spring chip.
yeah. That's your, it's to go to. Yeah. Three times the spare. It's been really mild over winter, so you gotta go when you can.
Said Bill's got trouble with his phone.
Or it's too muddy, they can't get in here.
That's, it's got to
He
be.
had, he ran into COVID last time. He was here and then
You can be like the
He was trying to
turn the screen back up the road.
So we need to do
I
something.
think what I need to have to do far away.
give him a laptop.
You want to send me down?
Don't get my car dirty.
He'll spend a week to figure it out.
Shit, I haven't flown it one time.
I can catch a flight.
West part.
Them county emails.
Going down the road, and I said, what do you have been making money?
Hey, money in the budget.
Pulled out of me, and they flashed there before I knew it.
You got found on conference.
Well, that they were, got out of my car, I went to the car wash twice. I did it once till I got it next morning, it still smelled, I had to go back up there and leave it.
Welcome to the Grant County Board of Zoning Appeals meeting, February 6th, 2023. If you would, all please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, could we have a roll call for attendance, please?
Atkins,
Here.
Johnson. Jones. Here. Powell.
Here.
Long.
Here.
Maynard.
Here.
Hartman.
Here. Okay, one thing we need to review is the election rules. Because we didn't have a January meeting, this is our first meeting of the year, and we need to elect officers. President, vice president. What's that? Yes, and I usually mention it, so it's just reminding me. Please silence your phones at this time if you haven't already done so. Okay, the rules are, we have an open vote because that's what's required by state code. So we will have our nominations, we will discuss nominations, and then we will close nomination. I think I said that slightly wrong. We will have nominations, we will close nominations, the board will discuss nominations. Then we will have a roll call vote in which, when your name is called, you will vote for one person. Now, if there is a tie and we are unable to elect a president, then the current president will continue until such time as we can have an election and elect another president. If two or more are nominated, say we had three, and no one was able to attain a majority, which would be four members, four votes, we would then the person with the fewest number of votes to drop out. And then we would vote again. When everyone is here and you have only two running, it's assured someone will be elected by a majority. But as you can see, we have six. It could be possible to have a tie. In any case, Bill Johnson.
Did you guys check on his thing?
He's not on the screen. There he is. He's there.
What was I say?
Dale, you there? Dale, you there?
Yes, I'm there.
Okay,
Okay.
Sorry about that.
that's okay.
We gotta be able to see you, Bill.
See you, Bill.
Well, I don't know which button. I don't know why I'm here. You should be able to see me.
I hear you.
Okay, well, Nicole tried to diagnose that problem. We can open it for nominations.
I make a nomination. We put Ed back in president.
Okay, we have a nomination for Hartman. Do we have a second? We have a second. We have for nominations.
I'm making a motion to close the nomination.
So we have a second for that nomination.
I'll second that.
Okay. At this time, it's open for discussion.
Do we have any rules that say how many times I can say it? Just feel like if that's your idea, give you
Well,
two or three times, you know.
no, I don't think we have to. That I've read anyway. I would consider putting some in.
Yeah, I need to put something. Yeah. We'll do
do that, you know.
I think we're just fine.
Yeah, fine. You can stay there till you die.
Maybe you're gonna stay there.
Who got the mic on?
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bill? I'm on. Oh, sure.
Repeat everything you said.
Yeah, we're just gonna put in their term limits, you know, but okay, but we're ready for it.
Okay, Bill, we can't see you,
He's gotta press something on his end.
so
Like visual, because what they put on there, visual, anything?
if you can't get on the screen by the time we vote, you'll have to pass. Are you okay with that?
So he's mic'd out. Yeah.
I think he's okay with that.
I sent the request to unmute.
You still there, Bill?
I think I'm getting close here. Yeah. Sorry. I can see all of you guys, but I can't see what I'm doing here.
See us, we should see you. Unless your camera's not facing you. Yeah. Unless your camera's not facing you, Bill.
Yeah, he's got a sick face that's been kind of over.
Bill, you all got a camera?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. This thing has got me befuddled.
Hey, you'll be able to vote then.
Okay, no problem. I can see all you guys and I can see me, but I don't know why I'm not getting to you.
Okay, would you begin a roll call, please?
Atkins,
Yes.
Yes, it's not one of the options.
Okay, Mr. Hartman.
There you go.
Jones. Yeah, what is it? Chris. Ed.
And
Got me so good.
And Hartman.
Long,
Ed Hartman.
Maynard.
okay. I'll be elected for another term. Thank you.
Sure.
I will, yeah, continue to work for you all. Appreciate it.
Later. Next time. We'll get back to that. 20.
Now, it's time for nominations for vice president. It's open.
I will go with Rex Maynard again, please.
We have a nomination. Next one, Jim Long. Second.
I'll say.
Second, Lois Jones. Do we have any other nominations?
I'll make the motion to close.
I'll say.
We have a motion. Nominations from Chip Long, second by Lois Jones. We use the same system. State the.
Al,
Yes, ma'am.
Long,
Rex Maynard.
Maynard,
Mr. Maynard is elected. Congratulations. Okay. Now. The process that we just went through. We need to make sure that's in our rules. So that there's no confusion next year or any other year. Moving on, we have approval of the minutes. December 5th. See, something we need to make the minutes is that some of the time Mr. Williams is here voting, and I believe that should be Mr. Johnson. So,
That's fact. That's what I was gonna say.
okay. So if we can make that correction. Are there any other corrections or additions, to the minutes?
Now, I just see them too.
December.
Yes.
Yes, Bill?
Yeah, I had seen two mistakes there on my name. So hopefully you can hear me, but I seen two mistakes on that.
I'll make the motion, if that's the only thing we have wrong, is corrected. Accept the minutes as they are now. And then,
Okay. Yep. We have a second? Okay, we had a motion from Mr. Maynard, second, Mr. Jones. We have a roll call, please.
Atkins, Johnson,
Yes.
Jones. Powell,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Maynard.
Bill's on the screen.
If he's on the screen.
but they're on what's that one. Remember,
Okay. January, we had,
We see you, Bill.
we had the meeting on January the 9th. So. Now, I had some previous minutes that I just happened to be reading over and found a few things that need corrected. And I will leave that with our secretary, Mr. Malat. He can make those corrections, bring them to the next meeting. If anyone else sees something like that, according to Robert's Rules of Order, you can amend minutes whenever you find a mistake. So even if they've already been passed, just to make sure that the record is correct. So, okay. January 9th, we had no meeting. So the minutes were just that we had no meeting. Is there anything anyone would like to add for January 9th? It just says the meeting is canceled. Next meeting will be February 6th. Due to a lack of petition filed, there was no business. Anyone make a motion to accept that?
I'll make the motion, accept it.
Motion by Mr. Maynard, second by Mr. Long.
Mr. Joe.
Joe. Sorry.
Atkins,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Now, I have a question. This is kind of a record here. But, okay, are your findings of facts fine? And they state, I see no negative impact from the project. Project plans overall development of the property. All other sign was placed without a permit. Now, if we approve these, should they be filled out with reasons? Are yours have reasons in them? And should there be a summary that we are actually voting upon? So we probably need to, moving forward, write a summary of each one of these, what the members turn in.
Yeah,
That's what we vote on.
we're supposed to compile that you guys put together, that and defining the facts. The code also, or ordinance also calls for us to vote on each one.
That's in the area. But I don't recall that in state code.
I tried to pull together finding the facts for finding the document for the BZA in the 1600 series, it's one paragraph, and it just says finding the facts will be done when it's required.
Yeah, that's about the way I remember it. And our rules, we don't have that in our rules then either. So that's kind of a. Okay, so recommend change to the area zoning ordinance. Or it seems cumbersome to vote on every one of these because if any one of these is negative, then it couldn't have been passed. So it's either pass or fail situation for the whole thing. So anyway, I think that's need to define in our rules, recommend for a small change in the area-wide zoning ordinance, like possibly taking out the requirement of voting on each individual question.
Yeah,
It is a question that's important to ask yourself when you're filling it out at all. And before you vote, everything is a positive.
how often do you guys fill out others? And a lot of times you got one circle, stuff that we've added in there. I don't think very often we do anything that's added in other. But yeah, I mean, we're supposed to take what you guys put together, compile it, put it into the plan.
And this is, be completely open, this is not something I'm just about. As being the chairman, I try to present a neutral position towards the hearing and results. But it's you guys to decide and vote based on your vote, all of these will be positive. When you read it over before you vote.
Yeah, because you get one negative.
Negative disqualifies.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, and the question remains, of course, is if you vote no, but the rest vote yes, it's a majority rule. So the majority opinion should be summarized. Am I saying this all right, Kyle?
Very well. It's
Okay.
difficult to write an opinion, you know, when, because I mean, formulate it kind of after the fact, but
Yes.
you know, the standard judicial standard, just so you know, I mean, I would assume the courts would default to the judicial standard, which is trial court judge. They could just put motion granted, order granted, and then the appealing court can find it it's based on any reasoning, you know, on a trial to no vote, a new trial, so. I mean, it probably is best to state your reasons, but, you know, to formulate it right after the hearing is, might be difficult at times, especially with the number of people. we have.
But if one votes no, then there should be an opinion written.
You
Is that what you're
you
saying?
could put that in the record if you wanted to dissent from a vote.
Well, I'm just on the paper.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, on the findings of fact, the one that's going to be approved is going to be the majority opinion of the reasons why.
True.
And your findings should match your vote.
Yeah, you find it in the match.
Because your vote is on the record.
Yeah.
Well, okay, go back. Okay, do we need any further discussion on findings and approval process? All right, then we will table these until next month. When there's a summary.
If they would be, let's see. So if she were here,
We gotta do that for most.
then we would have all this.
Right.
So really, whenever.
I'll make a motion that we table this next month. Here we have a summary.
Yeah, and legally it'll just be now we operate. Okay, so it's relatively. Not Ron sketching me up. I'm the new guy.
Okay, all right. Was there anything you needed to tell the group?
No, he was just trying to piece together how things work.
Okay. All right.
I don't know.
I hope they're doing the same thing, actually. All right, very good.
So. First time I've seen it.
Okay.
I missed the inserts.
Okay, so then next month, we'll have a summary, and then we'll vote on those findings. At this time, we'll move on to public hearings. Okay,
If I just. December 9th. So.
Okay. She's just letting us know that the issue right now.
okay, well, do we have a public hearing?
We're asking that it be tabled till March.
Something for it to be tabled. Is anyone present for that hearing?
No, I do not believe so.
Okay, fine. Uh, Moving on in other business.
Do we need to vote on that or table that?
That's a good question.
Because that would have it on record.
Yeah, we We have a motion to table that until next month.
I'd like to make a motion that we'll table that next month.
We have a motion by Mrs. Jones.
I'll second that.
Second by Mr. Maynard. Roll call, please.
Atkins?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
Powell? Long?
Yes.
Maynard?
Yeah.
Okay. Motion passed. Now, and, other business. Okay. We were going to hold off on the proposed rules of procedure. We were going to maintain and move forward on proposed text amendments to the area-wide zoning ordinance, which may touch on a couple of rules of procedure at the same time. So, in the back of your packet here, on page 12, I believe it starts. Okay. Recommended text amendments. 6(8) Board of Zoning Appeals shall keep the minutes of its proceedings or the vote of all action taken. All minutes and records shall be filed at the office of the board. Public records. The board shall, in all cases heard by it, make written findings of fact.
What number did you say that was it?
Says 6(1).
Six, big one.
That's not a plan.
12.
Yeah.
Line 668. Top 662.
One is different too. There's one. It's gonna be-
Six, 8, 2, you know, 14.
Yeah.
This is on 13. Bottom of 13. There's mine is.
Are you sure you're not on the text amendments? Page 1, you should start with 153.031.
6(8) at the bottom.
6811. It's at the bottom of page 13.
13.
13.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
You're on 12?
Yep. Mine's on 13.
Mine's on 15.
Okay. Where's that corresponding page of our current rules of procedure?
If I could bring my desk down, on my desk, I've got clean copy proposed on each screen.
What does yours say? Final. Recommendation to text amendments.
Yeah, it should be set up that it's got our actual current, it's got Indiana code, and then it's got a proposed text amendment. That's how they're set up.
Okay. R681 previously has been written, adopted findings of fact are required by the zoning ordinance, subdivision control ordinance, animal feeding operation ordinance, wireless facilities ordinance, or these rules of procedure, the petitioner shall at that time of filing the petition file proposed detailed written findings of fact. So this would go in probably right above that. Also add all decisions of the board on matters heard in public hearings shall be by record vote. The vote of each member shall be a matter of public record. Okay, and this is, shall keep minutes of proceedings in the record of vote on all actions taken. It's basically about the same thing, but this is actually word for word out of state code, IC 3674-915. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so
The only changes I would have made, it might have said the unit, and I put the BZA. It is the basic changes.
yeah, here it just says all the decisions of the board. It does not say in our current rules what board be assumed, but, okay, anyway, the members want to make that change.
Yeah, I'll make the motion when we make that change once the board zoning appeal and all that.
Okay. Go second.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a second. By Mrs. Jones, motion by Mr. Maynard. Let's go. Well, no, let's go roll call. I was gonna say all in favor, but let's go roll call. It's official.
Atkins,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes. Yes. God. Where are you from? Can't hear nothing now. Oh, God.
And it's just a little simpler than the one that's in here, and it just goes, the one in our rules goes into zoning ordinance, subdivision control ordinance, animal feeding operation ordinance, wireless facilities ordinance. Or these rules of procedure. Petitioner at time of filing filed proposed detailed ordinance findings in fact. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, this one's a little more brief, but it basically says the same thing. Do you want to adopt 684 in the new rules?
What's your opinion on the changes there?
I'm fine with that change.
You're fine with it? Then we should we adopt that change?
We have a motion by Mr. Atkins. We have a second.
Second, believe.
And a second by Mr. Maynard. We have a roll call again.
Atkins,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Long,
Yes.
Maynard.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we've got, Ed, if I could, we've got that in a couple of spots, and the reason I looked at that, do we, as we go, is we're just adding portions of the area wide, say solar, or we do wind, or we do a CAFO, do I just keep adding as we do it to that list, or do we just say the area wide zoning ordinance, that's all?
I would think the area-wide zoning ordinance ordinance encompasses it, because aren't all those other ordinances amendments to the area-wide zoning ordinance technically?
So I just figured that saves from having to
Kind of
continue.
covers it all. All right. Okay, moving on to the next one. Is under add to public hearings, 153, 105. It should be just following right along your book, the next red area.
That's not close to what you're saying.
No, mine's off too.
Yeah,
And I don't understand why.
Like adjacent property owners must be notified in 10 days. That's like in the paragraph before.
Get that.
Okay.
I've got to get the numbers out because.
Well, it's, no, it's
7
point, we hit a different section of 153.105 public hearings. So,
But page one of the packet started with 153. So I think that's probably what which would be page one of what we're looking at. With highlights.
Page 1.
It'd be the county board of zoning appeals.
Yeah.
I don't know how to get it.
I'll read it, okay.
And these are text amendments to the local ordinance. So they basically, they go through the area plan commission for recommendation to the commissioners. This is basically your input before presented to the ABC. And again, most of these are just taking what we've got, comparing it, the ordinance to the rules to the Indiana code, and making sure that all three are the same.
okay. Well.
Ryan,
I-
Ryan, can you hear me?
Go ahead.
Yes, Bill?
I've lost the sound, so I don't know what's going on. So I'm gonna leave. I've lost my sound and I didn't do nothing. Okay?
Yeah.
Did you accidentally hit a loop button on your computer?
No, never touch a thing.
That's supposed to be on the first page, that what
Yeah.
Brian's saying.
I'm trying to think, it's on the very first page.
Yeah, it'll be page one and numbered.
I just found it when you said it.
Okay. Text amendment to area-wide zoning ordinance for BZA. That's what we're trying to get to, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, now, my booklet, that's page 1. And it comes after the rules of procedure area,
Right.
which, we have a committee working on that. We need to meet one more time. And we'll get that done and bring you the recommendations from that. But this is text amendments where we're trying to get the area-wide zoning ordinance amended. And we're giving these to the APC to put forward. So let's try this again. All right. Is everybody on the page with the yellow highlighted?
Page 1 is right up.
Ours on there.
I don't think you're on the right page.
Page 1, Grant County Village Field General Statement.
No, your rules of procedure,
Yeah,
you need to be in the text amendment to area-wide zoning. Go back a couple more pages. No, not that way. Go this way. Yeah, keep going. So get one yellow highlight. Sure. See, I must get all this yellow on
It's
there.
never,
I don't have any yellow.
I don't have any.
keep going, it's there.
ours is all written.
Keep going. Maybe it'll get there.
What page is it?
You've got red.
Well, it says 1, but that comes after the, yeah, you're not there yet. Yeah, keep going. What's the number?
It's
One by-
I just found something.
Go on. It's there.
Here it goes.
One more. There you are, right there.
Okay, this page 1.
Yeah, that page.
Not the other page 1.
I said, I'm on the other page one.
That's where I
Okay, okay.
Text amendments for the area-wide ordinance of BZA, that's where we're at?
That's where we're at.
Okay.
Okay. All right, now. All members must be residents of the county. The term of members is 4 years, or 4 elected officials reflective of their term of office. That is basically a statement of the rule that requires you must live in the county. And your normal term is 4 years if you're appointed, but if you're elected to a town board and then selected to serve, then that's up to the town board, how long you serve.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question.
Yes,
Thinking about this, just using this as an example. If Bob Boswell, if he's a citizen and he was on our board, he's elected by the school board. And when I took it, when I talked to the school board one time, they're there till they kick him out. There's no 4-year term. They don't consider no 4-year term, no nothing.
that's right.
So that's why I have a question. It's just something I got to be in here too. Because they says they're there to, they want to step down or they tell you there's no term on it.
Right. Yeah, that one's a special case. Yeah, elected by, appointed by the school board, would be up to them how long you serve.
Yeah.
Not a set rule. Okay, are we okay with this change? Anyone like to make a
That's-
motion?
That's current. So for your text amendments, the very first one is what we currently have. Directly below it is what Indiana code states. And then following that, I've got the recommended text amendment for the area-wide ordinance. So you're getting current ordinance, Indiana code, and then recommended amendment.
So there are 3 sections to this one.
And I've got a line underneath to separate each amendment. So Indiana code says that none of the members of the board of the zoning appeals may hold an elected office.
That's the way it's stated now.
As Indiana code, and it states that the member must be a resident of the jurisdictional area of the board, or the member must be a resident of the county and also owner of real property located in whole or in part in the jurisdictional area of the board. And then goes on to note that out of that, the majority has to live in the jurisdiction. So currently for BZA, it says that all members must be residents of the county, but doesn't have also the jurisdiction or own property of the jurisdiction. And it says that it's a 4-year term or for elected officials. It's relative to their term of office. When code says that basically no one on the BZA can be an elected official.
What about an appointed person? Where does that fall in?
Appointed.
Appointments and citizen
Okay,
members,
just
that's,
like you and me, we was appointed by the BZA, the APC to be here. We're appointed. But we have to be like Brian said.
That's a 4-year term.
no. It does, for the BZA, it does not set
For an elected official.
a 4-year term.
So you're on until they unappoint.
So we need to do something
When
about
you
that,
find
say
that
that.
representative.
You're just because when you're in paper.
So I think what happened when they did the ordinance, they copy and pasted APC and BZA and just said, okay, there we go, and moved on. Because they're both the same, but in reality, they're not the same.
Cause
So what we
we
need to
can't
do
be
is,
elected officials, we just gotta be citizens.
So we're going to members to be term limits, how many, like it says the 4 years, how are they?
Yeah, 4 years is appointed.
Mhm.
The commissioners appoint for 4 years, 2 members of this board. Is there any other member that has a term limit?
I got the 4-year is 36-7-4-906.
But the other members come from either town boards or the APC,
Right.
and they serve however long they serve. That's appointed by those entities. So, okay.
But if we are under terms,
Yes. You guys are under 4-year,
yeah.
4-year
The
terms.
state says that, and I see.
Yeah, yeah, it's 36, for the BZA, it's 36-7-4. If you turn the page to my proposed,
Yeah.
D notes, the term of members is 4 years per, and it gives the code. I tried to add the code to everything, but I do it.
Okay,
So what I'm not understanding is like Chip and I, we are appointed.
yes, by the
I
town
was,
board.
by the town board, the town council.
Okay. So our term is 4 years?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, your term is depending upon how
Yeah,
long
depending
you
on
want
how
to
long
stay.
that they want us to stay, yeah.
But every 4 years, they have to
Oh,
come.
yeah, they come in, yeah, okay.
Okay, at this point, I want to hold off on this and take this up again next month. Push forward with that. At this time, I want to bring it to you, a discussion point. Talking about an attorney and a recommendation possibly to the APC, a candidate, to review the ordinance for us, BZA and APC, who also voted to review the solar ordinance. And what you have before you is experience listing from Pat Hess of Beckman Lawson in Fort Wayne. And his experience, as you can see, is very wide ranging. He was staff land use planner, Allen County Planning Commission and Department of Planning Services. Graduated from the University of Cincinnati Law School. He was associate lawyer with Ray and Associates at Fort Wayne. He was associated lawyer and partner with Beckman Lawson, Fort Wayne. His practice concentration has been land use planning and zoning. He spends about 50% of his time on that. About 10% of that is zoning and litigation support. He does real estate transactions, commercial sales, leases, etc. for about 40%. Neighborhood and condominium associations, he'll represent them for about 10% of his time. He's also been associate counsel of Allen County Plan Commission and BZA. He's been counsel to the town of Zionsville Plan Commission and BZA. He's been the counsel of the City of New Haven Plan Commission and BZA. He's been counsel to Adams County Plan Commission and BZA. He's been special counsel of the Fort Wayne Allen County Zoning Administrator. Represents the administrator when a decision is appealed to the BZA. Current represents numerous clients, mostly developers and property owners, occasionally opponents, before local and area planning commissions and BZA. Been president of the land use and zoning section of the Indiana State Bar Association. He's written numerous articles and presentations on zoning matters to the Indiana Continuing Legal Education Foundation and other groups providing continuing legal education seminars. In other words, he does teaching or zoning. Anyway, he has agreed to represent us in determining thorough investigation of the solar ordinance and conflict of interest. If we would like to hire him. So, in other words, if you're in favor, we would want to recommend him to the APC. If you would like to discuss, I'll open it now to discussion amongst the board members.
Who pays him?
What's that?
Who pays him? Who pays him?
The APC would pay him.
Do they have the funds enough?
They currently have funds. Now, at some point in time, they may need more funds. They currently have funds, and he felt that, according to Kyle's recommendation, what it would cost, he thought that would be adequate. Could be done for that.
Question I got here.
Yeah.
If we hired this guy, and we say tonight in the BZA, we like to hire him. I think if we're gonna do it, we need to say we're gonna hire him. And if the APC does not want to come along, we're gonna move on. We're gonna find out facts that we wanted from the very get-go when we said we wanted to find out if it was right or wrong.
Do the funds cover the fact that should we go our own way to the APC because they do control the person?
That's an interesting situation because we have hired a lawyer before.
Yeah.
When we were in litigation with Junior Stone, I think about all of you were here. Ron, were you here?
No.
On the edge of it.
You were on the edge of it. Randy's new. But, the rest of you were here when we hired Junior Stone to represent the BZA in the appeals court. So there is precedent for the BZA hiring an attorney. So if we wish to do that, we could possibly push that issue.
The question comes, if this is something that you've looked at for the APA and the BZA together, whether he would take one or the other and how the split of costs would be. That may not be a workable situation either.
I would prefer that at this point we recommend and they would also choose the same person. I think he's possibly one of the very best in the state. For this kind of work, so.
We haven't heard him speak.
What's that?
We haven't heard him speak.
Yes.
Yes.
Looking at his resume, I don't know how you could come up with anyone any more qualified, to serve our need at this time. I mean, I don't think you hire a divorce lawyer to handle personal injury, and I don't think you hire personal injury lawyers to handle divorce. So, I mean, if we've got a zoning issue here, makes sense to hire a zoning lawyer.
I make the motion we hire him. If the APC say they don't want to move on, then we're gonna move on. And this will be the person then.
Do we want to start with a recommendation to the APC?
Yeah.
No, I feel no.
No, I think you're gonna go with,
I think we can
Together.
ask them to join us
you are
in
not,
a nice member way. But I'm saying, what I'm trying to say If they say they're not gonna move on with anything, I'm making a motion now that we don't have to come back in the future and revote this again. That we recommend this guy and ask the APC to join us. And if they say not, they're not gonna move on, then I want approval to move on for us too.
I wouldn't vote for that. Somehow along the line, you gotta work together.
I'm trying to
You
work
can't
together.
work together.
I'm saying,
You can't dictate to another
I'm
board.
not.
You
All
are.
I'm saying is, I'm asking to prove this. Then if they say no, that they're not gonna move on with their lawsuit and they're gonna drop it, I'm just putting in here a clause. Then we will move on. This is who we will hire.
But, you know, to move on.
Are you hiring an
I
attorney
was gonna say, who's
to take Kyle's place?
Yeah,
No. You remember when we said we were gonna sue on the solar ordinance, because we had questions on the solar ordinance? We had questions on the solar ordinance. We said we approved to sue. And so what Ed did, Ed went and found a lawyer. That's it. And what I'm recommending is we find out what our problem is. I'm asking through my thing is we say we approve this lawyer as APC. We would like you to join us with this lawyer. If they say no, they're not gonna move on with their problem, you know, the ones they said they have. I want in our clause here that we'll move on. We don't have to wait until March to come back and say, okay, they're not gonna come with it. What we gonna do?
how can you move on?
Well-
And also because what happens here is if you say you're gonna move on, but without the approval of the APC to put that bill, who's gonna put that bill?
Well, just like Ed said, we've been sued before when we may sue and we got another lawyer. I don't know why we can't do it again. And there's money up there and different accounts to use.
Once we figure out where the money's coming from, then that's gonna be fine.
Yeah, we would have to
Yeah.
go
County council.
to the
Yeah.
county council to approve this
Yeah.
if we were going alone.
Yeah,
Now, you know, if the APC chooses another route, we could still choose our own route. I'm trying to stay neutral.
Well, you can't dictate
But-
to another board
I think,
what they're gonna do.
Rex, I think it's in our best interest that we give the APC an opportunity to,
I agree with that.
yeah.
And at that point, you can make a decision.
Yeah, we can always come back and review, you know, I'd like to,
Okay.
I mean, I asked Ryan to provide some information regarding how Kyle has been used for the APC and the BZA. You know, I'd like to see the whole picture in regard to our legal representation. I mean, it may be that we want to take a different path than what we've done in the past, and it may be that we want to, you know, entertain this person to meet our needs for the entire year, and I'd like to have the APC the
Oh,
opportunity,
I do too.
you
I
know,
like
to
to,
share with us.
but I'm just feeling, if they say no, so let's have to come back in March again. Say we're moving on.
I'm just not sure you got the support there for that.
Okay.
Okay, so, we have a motion on the floor.
Okay.
We have a motion on the floor. Is there another motion?
I take my motion away.
Okay, we have the motion withdrawn. Do we have another motion?
I'm gonna make the motion that we recommend, Patrick Hess, to the APC to review the ordinance, and, conflict of interest, which is what the APC voted on that, and, give them the opportunity to accept our recommendation.
Okay, do we have a second? Mrs. Jones, second. Mr. Atkins made a motion. We have a roll call, please.
Atkins,
Yes.
Johnson,
Fine.
Jones,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Maynard.
Yeah.
Motion approved. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'm gonna make a motion to adjourn.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.
Just great.
Yeah, you can, yeah, right now, you can. He's making an attempt to anyway.